All right, what is good, everyone? This is the Kid DC Wrestling back at it again with another video. And tonight I'm here to bring you all your Friday, December 3rd, 2021 edition of Friday Night Smackdown. This was a very special Smackdown because tonight was the return of Brock Lesnar. We haven't seen him since pretty much the SmackDown after Crown Jewel when he showed up and attacked Roman Reigns. And of course, Brock Lesnar went full ape mode and got suspended. But of course, this was his first night back since his suspension has been lifted. And I have to say, man, for an episode of Friday Night SmackDown tonight, overall, I thought this actually was a pretty good episode, man. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get straight to it. Man, we kick things off tonight with Brock Lesnar, and he acknowledges the crowd. He talks about how his suspension is over, and he's came here for one thing and one thing only tonight, and that's the Universal title. But of course, out comes the challenger for the Universal Champion, SAMI ZAYN. Of course, SAMI ZAYN coming out. Him and Brock Lesnar, this is pretty much their first encounter, like one-on-one. I know they had like a little encounter a few years back when Brock was on Raw, but Sammy comes out and he talks about how he says no funny business. He's a fan of Lesnar. He praises Lesnar, but of course, Sammy just goes on to talk about how I have the #1 contender spot for the Universal Championship. And once he beats Reigns, he will face Lesnar at day one. But of course, Lesnar's like, nah, that's not going to happen. You are going to get your title match with Roman Reigns tonight and stuff like that. And this is overall a pretty good segment, man. I'm not going to break down word for word. I'd probably go back and watch it because this was actually a really good opener to SmackDown and very entertaining as well. Sami Zayn, we all know how entertaining he is. So this was a really good segment, man, from both Sami Zayn and Brock Lesnar. And of course, it is later on announced, that whoever, which we all saw with Roman Reigns winning, whoever wins this title match, which was Roman Reigns, would face Brock Lesnar at day one. So, yeah. Next, after that in-ring segment, we had Sasha Banks versus Shayna Bazel. These two women actually going to have what I thought was a pretty good opener to SmackDown tonight with the first match of the night. And Sasha Banks, man, she wins the match. She rolls Baszler up and she gets the win. So this is a pretty good match between the both men. I got to give the props to the two women again for just put on a pretty good opener to SmackDown. Anyways, next we had a tag team match player. We had the Viking Raiders taking on Los Ludoris, which is Humberto Carlito and Angel Garza. This match didn't really last long. It was meh, it was meh for what it was worth. It was honestly there. But Los Ludoris get the win there, of course, as we see them continuing their little feud with Rick Boogs and the Intercontinental Champ, Shinsuke Nakamura. Speaking of which, in my personal opinion, man, Shinsuke Nakamura is the Intercontinental Champ. We got to put this dude in a feud, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know he's in a feud now with the tag team, Los Ludoris, but this dude's the Intercontinental Champ. This guy's got to defend his title. When's the last time Shinsuke's defended his Intercontinental title? This man's got to get a challenger, you know what I mean? But we move on from that, man. We move to Charlotte Flair and Toni Storm. Toni Storm, cuts a little interview with Kayla Braxton talking about what happened the previous week. We also see, after that, we see one half of the tag team champions, Jey Uso, taking on Xavier Woods, King Xavier Woods, I should say. These two men have a pretty solid match, to say the least. But, of course, man, in the end, King Woods wins by DQ because Jimmy, gets involved in the ring and stuff like that. But as the Usos are attacking Woods, this leads to the return of Kofi Kingston. That's right, Kofi's been out for a few weeks with, the injuries and stuff, selling the injuries and stuff with Reigns. And also congrats to Kofi. I believe he actually just a few weeks ago actually welcomed a new child into the family. So Kofi is back. So it was really good to see Kofi back. Him and, Xavier back together. So that was pretty cool to see. Anyways, we get Flair coming out to the ring. She does her promo. She's #1, and she even acknowledges that Storm feels like too much, but she's going to embarrass Storm and beat Storm and all that stuff. And actually, Toni Storm comes out. She gets her revenge. She actually smashes a pie into Flair. So that was revenge for Tony there. So next, and this is a really good match. You know, we get Cesaro versus Sheamus. Now, these two have history going back to their little best of 7 series, and then they became the Bar, and we all know how that went down. So it was actually really cool to see these two have a match tonight, go, you know, run it back tonight. And it was a pretty good match, I would say. But Sheamus does get the win, man, because, of course, you know, you had the other dude come out. You know, Ridge Holland obviously out there helping with Sheamus, you know, the mentor and stuff like that. But Sheamus hits with the bro kick, and yeah, man, he stands tall over Cesaro. So it was actually really fun to see those two running back. Now we get the main event, man. We get SAMI ZAYN versus Roman Reigns. And of course, man, Sami gives thanks to Lesnar for having his back, and you know, he brings up how Lesnar hasn't had the best track record against Reigns as of late, and of course, this is making Lesnar upset. So Brock Lesnar attacks Sami Zayn, laying him out and stuff like that. And of course, Roman comes out, spears Sami, locks in the guillotine. Sami taps out, and that's it, guys. That is it. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, day one. It is official. These two will run it back. It's crazy, man, because people were thinking that maybe, just maybe, you'll get it at the Rumble, or maybe Brock would enter the Rumble match and win the Royal Rumble to face Reigns at WrestleMania. But let's be real. I don't think we need to see another Reigns and Brock match at Mania. As great as those two guys are, we've seen them fight countless times. They fought at WrestleMania twice. You know, we don't really need to see it again. You know, I think you need to build someone up for Roman to the throne as champ, you know, especially, you know, if you're not going to do The Rock and Roman this year, unless you're going to do that this year. But I digress. This is a pretty good episode of Smackdown tonight. I enjoyed it throughout. I hope you guys enjoyed my little review on this. Remember to subscribe to the channel, man. We're on the road to 500, man. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel. Like for more content. This is a great channel, man. I promise you. Like, this is a pretty good channel. At least in my eyes, I think it is. So, this has been the Kid DC Wrestling. And so, yeah.